Hi everybody, my name's Sam from the Career Development Center, and today we're going to be going over how to incorporate Greek life into your social media, resume, cover letter, and even in the job search. Today, you're going to learn how to identify the key sections of an effective LinkedIn profile, utilize social media and other platforms to job search effectively, summarize features and categories of a professional resume and cover letter, know employer expectations of resumes and cover letters, and incorporate Greek life experiences into your job application materials. When employers begin searching for potential employees, the number one thing that they do is get online and look for you on social media. 87% of them find LinkedIn the most effective when vetting candidates, but they also use things like Facebook, Twitter, any personal blogs, Instagram, YouTube, and even Snapchat sometimes. So, what you want to do is go where the recruiters are. If you don't have a LinkedIn, the first thing you want to do is create one. If you do have a LinkedIn, you want to make sure that you're keeping it as up to date as possible. You also want to make sure you're cleaning up your social media. I know a lot of us have old profiles that we don't look at anymore, especially if you were from the MySpace era. What you can do is go to www.scrubber.social and attach all of your social media profiles. The Scrubber will then run its web processor and it will pull any and all posts, pictures that might be a little not safe for work. So then you can go through and manage them without having to go back through years worth of posts. So make sure you clean up your social media and go where the recruiters are. And now we're going to get into how to make a LinkedIn profile. The very first thing an employer will see on your LinkedIn profile is going to be your photo and your headline. Your photo doesn't have to be fancy. You can even use your cell phone camera. Some people even use selfies. As long as you're wearing a nice shirt, smiling, and in front of a plain background, you can use any photo you'd like. Your headline should tell people what you're excited about now and any cool things that you want to do in the future. Normally, it's going to look similar to a profile or an objective on your resume. You can also claim your unique LinkedIn URL and add that to your resume. That way, when employers start looking through your application materials, they can find it very easily. The next thing you want to do is make sure you have a killer summary. Describe what motivates you, what you're skilled at, and what's next. If you're looking for specific types of jobs in a specific type of industry, this is where you want to let employers know. Tell them what fascinates you, what interests you, and what coursework you've taken that kind of contributes to those interests. This will be very similar to the first few paragraphs of a really well-written cover letter, which we'll get into a bit later. Now let's move on to experience. Experience is one of the ways in which you can add Greek life to your LinkedIn. So, in addition to listing jobs you've held, even if they're part-time, along with what you accomplished at each, you can list Greek life here, especially if you have photos and videos from your work. If you were organizing events, or let's say you're president of Greek life, if it's related to what you want to do as a job, so let's say you want to go into management or communications, anything with leadership skills, you could list it in your experience to help it stand out more, and then you just follow the prompts that are in there. Be as descriptive as possible and add quantitative and qualitative data. The more numbers you can input, the better. You can also put volunteer experience and causes in here. I know a lot of sororities and fraternities have service hours. Put those in there. Let them know that you did it as part of your sorority. If you've also done volunteer work as a different part of that, like let's say you volunteered in your church growing up, that's another good thing to put in there. The other way you can add Greek life is in the organization section. So for the organization, you would just put in the name, your position held. Let's just say you're a member, you don't feel like you have enough experience to put it in as an experience section. Just put it in membership and then just put in the notes, whatever you did. So you attended meetings, you met service hours, whatever you'd like to do. Next, you'll want to focus on your education. Starting with college, list all the educational experience you've had, including summer programs. This is a good place to mention that you studied abroad, even if it was only for 2 weeks. It doesn't have to be a full semester. Then you can move on to skills and expertise. Add at least 5 key skills, and then any connections you have on LinkedIn can endorse you for the things that you're best at. So if you're going to put community service or leadership skills, you can have your sisters or your brothers endorse you for that. You can also have them write you recommendations to kind of attest to your skills and what you can bring to the table. That's even better. So, now that we have a LinkedIn profile, how can we use it to find ourselves a job? The first thing you can do is check out LinkedIn Today's news dashboard and influencer posts for top daily headlines, to join groups, and to follow industry-specific organizations. See if you can follow top members of your sorority or fraternity in LinkedIn. All you have to do is search their name and they should come right up. If your sorority or fraternity has any national accreditations, normally they'll be located on there. And then you can also use LinkedIn to sort by major. If you're in the American Marketing Association, make sure you follow them. A lot of these places will post jobs or they will reshare jobs. That way you can take a look. Another thing you can do is ask your network for help. Send customized messages, no mass emails, and tell people that you're job hunting. Ask around your sorority, your professors, any other connections you may have from past internships or jobs. Ask them for advice, an informational interview, or if they know anybody in your desired field. Reach out and do some cold calling to people who are very influential. Say you're looking to get a feel for what it's like because you're going to be entering the field soon, and most of them will be happy to talk to you. Make sure you update your profile and your headline regularly, just like you would do with your resume, and add lingo that you're searching for a job and what you're interested in. More than 80% of jobs are found through networking, so make sure you're always expanding whenever you can. If you're having a bit of a hard time finding jobs just through your connections, another thing you can do is search the Student Jobs portal. It has all entry-level job and internship postings on LinkedIn, and you can search by job role or review postings from featured companies. Apply for positions, and the employer will be able to see your full LinkedIn profile. If you want to branch out from LinkedIn, the next thing you can do is start using other types of social media. For one, you can use Handshake, which is our online career platform. All of you already have accounts. All you have to do is log in with your KU single sign-on. You can also reach out to your network and see if anybody knows of any jobs available in your field. Or you can follow social media pages like Twitter, even Facebook. Usually employers will post job postings there. And then you can also branch out on websites like Indeed, Career Builder, whatever other platforms you feel comfortable using to try and find the job that's right for you. Now that we know how to incorporate Greek life into LinkedIn and search through it, let's focus on your resume. We all know that the purpose of your resume is to get you an interview and market you as a sales instrument. So what we want to do is make sure that we're summarizing who you are for the employer, incorporating your Greek life status, and presenting your strongest qualifications. Your resume is always going to change to meet the needs of employer, so you shouldn't just be sending the same exact one to every single employer you meet. Make sure you're always updating with new pertinent information and follow the rule of the 3 C's: clear, concise, and consistent. Let's get started. While most profiles are optional, I strongly recommend having one. You don't want to put your Greek life directly in there and just say member of X sorority, but what you can do is focus on the skills you use in that sorority or fraternity and put them in that way. So for example, let's say you're a senior marketing major. You could say senior marketing major with proven experience in leadership via sorority membership, seeking a job in the digital marketing field. You're just kind of sliding it in there casually, and if your employer is also a member, they'll be like, ooh, and they'll want to take a look at the rest just to see not only what sorority or fraternity you're in, but also what other skills you can bring to the table because you are a member. Your qualification section is another really good way to work in any skills that you're utilizing both in your regular jobs and in your sorority. Don't sell yourself short and make sure you're listing all your skills that are relevant to the objective and set you apart from other candidates. Stay away from common buzzwords like friendly, hardworking, and determined because all of them is going to be expected of you anyway. What you can add, though, are descriptive words like communication skills, creative problem solving, interpersonal skills, etc. Language skills, but make sure you qualify what level of language you're at. Don't put anything below intermediate. You can also add public speaking or presentations. If you do that, make sure you add the number of people who attended. That looks really good on a resume because it shows qualitative data. You can also add any equipment that you're skilled at, like forklifts, any research techniques, or any computer programs and skills. The next section you want to add is your education. I know a lot of people are tempted to put their sorority or fraternity involvement in here, but you actually want to wait and put that down in a different section so that it stands out more. Your education should simply list the type of your degree, the full name of the university, anywhere else you can abbreviate it, the city and state, your major, your minor if you have one, the day you're graduating, and then your GPA. Make sure you format all different college experiences the same, including study abroads. Your experience section is where you want to put your jobs, any internships you've had, or any research experience you've had. However, just like your LinkedIn profile, experience is also where you can list your Greek life involvement. If you're going to list it here, the best type of experience category to list it in would be volunteer or related. However, if you're going to put it in related, make sure that you can relate your Greek life involvement to the type of career you'd like to have. If you look at the example, you'll see that the first thing is the membership title or the job title listed in bold because it's the most important. After that will come the name of the organization or your sorority or fraternity. Then you'll list the city and state and the dates of involvement. In the little bullet points there, you'll want to describe exactly what you did. If you mostly planned and coordinated events, you want to list exactly which ones you did. And if you can put numbers in there from attendance, that's even better. If you were managing social media platforms, make sure you mention which ones you were managing. And if you were using like a software to help you manage it, list that in there as well because it shows that you have competency beyond just regular social media management. And then if you are managing people or managing different documents, make sure you state how you're managing them and keeping track of them. The more specific you can be, the better. But remember, you don't have to list every single thing that you've ever done. The idea of the resume is just to get you the job and pique the employer's interest. If you want to list your Greek life involvement in campus leadership or campus involvement, you're more than welcome to do so. Generally, these sections don't get descriptions, so you might be better off listing it as an experience if you really want to go into depth. But if you're just a member and you're not really sure how much involvement you had or you don't want to list it, you can just list your title within the organization, the name of it, and then the dates of involvement. If you only attended one college, you don't have to put Kutztown BA or Kutztown University because that'll be obvious. But if you did attend more than one, or if you have degrees from more than one university, you do want to list which one that your involvement was at. In honors, if you're part of any honor society with Greek letters, that's where you would want to go ahead and list that there. And finally, your references. You never want to put your references on your resume. Make sure you always keep it in a separate document. However, if you do want to ask your sorority head or your leader to write you a recommendation or serve as a reference, you're more than welcome to do so because they're bound to know you a lot better than a professor you had in freshman year is going to know you. If you do decide to do that, make sure you give them a full copy of your resume. That way they know other things that you've done outside of the sorority, and then they can write you something that's really going to wow employers. And finally, let's move on to your cover letter. So your cover letter is going to make the critical first impression. Most employers will take a look at this before they take a look at your resume, so you want to make sure that it really wows them. It's supposed to complement and not duplicate your resume, and also connect the employer's position requirements to your resume. So make sure you add a personal touch and not just facts. And let's get started. What questions should your cover letter answer? The main one is why you're interested in the job, company, industry, or program if you're looking at grad school. The next one is how you've demonstrated skills and qualities the employer or grad school is seeking. Focus on their needs and what you can offer them based on your experience and skills. You also want to make sure that you're properly articulating what you learned or gained from your education and experiences, and that you're focusing on what you can provide and not what you can't or what you're hoping the employer can do for you. Your very first paragraph of your cover letter is going to tell them who you are, your degree and major, If you want, you can also briefly reference your Greek life membership here, especially if you're going to go more in depth about it and your experience with it in the next paragraph. If you're not, I wouldn't worry too much about it, and then I would just leave it mostly on your resume. You'll also want to mention what area or position you're interested in. If you found it online and there's a job title or a job code, make sure you reference it in your cover letter or in the email line if that's how you're sending your cover letter. You also want to mention where you found the job, when you're going to graduate, and when you can start, and then why you're writing. So you'll either be writing to ask them about a job or to directly apply. Your second paragraph is going to be the absolute most important part of your cover letter. This is the power paragraph and what's special about you. What you want to do is, instead of mentioning every single thing that you have listed on your resume, pick one or two special contributions or achievements that are relevant to the position and focus on them. So let's say you planned an event. You want to talk about that event, exactly what you did in it, what skills you used, and how all of that relates to the job that you're applying for now. Focus on your functional skills and abilities and identify other personal qualities. Like I said, don't repeat what's on your resume or give too many details, but really just focus on one main experience to really sell yourself. That kind of encompasses who you are as a person and what you're going to be able to do for the company. Your final paragraph is really just going to reiterate your interest. It's going to remind the reader why you're applying, either as an application or to arrange an interview. Be assertive. Don't say, "I look forward to hearing from you." Make them aware you're going to be contacting them. Instead, say, "If I don't hear from you in 2 weeks, I'll be following up," and then actually follow up. Be sure to always end with a thank you. And if you're going to ask for an interview, make sure you say at their earliest convenience. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for sitting through this presentation. If you have any individual questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can email careerhelp@kutztown.edu and then get in touch with me that way. I'd be happy to answer any individual questions about adding Greek life, or if you'd like me to review it personally, I'd be happy to do so for you. I hope you guys have a great rest of your semester, all things considered, and a great rest of your day.